Okay, so I'm currently at Europa Point in Gibraltar, and I've had a really shit morning so far. I was supposed to be in my original location. Um, my original location was supposed to be in in Coney Island, and I was supposed to do a time lapse video. That was like the initial plan this morning, but it's just all gone to shit. Like I got there and the location was rubbish, and there was like too many boats in the way, and I couldn't really frame the time lapse the way that I wanted. So I ended up going to another location, which was also bad, and that just went downhill. And here we are. I'm recording this video, and this has got to be the worst day in landscape photography I have ever had. Now that I think about it, I'm probably going to make a video when I get home about the reasons why I thought today was so bad. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Well, I'm back now. After 3 weeks, I'm really sorry. I know I haven't uploaded in a while, and it has been around 3 weeks since the last video. But unfortunately, life, I guess you could say, got in the way. So this video that you're watching now is actually going to be split into two parts. The first of which I'm going to be talking about the catastrophic and epic failure that was 3 weeks ago, when I think I must have moved to around 3 or 4 locations because it was just not my morning. I was not having it, and I couldn't seem to get the shot that I was looking for. I mean, you can tell I'm still bitter. I know it was like 3 weeks ago and I should probably get over it by now, but I just can't get over these things as easily. Yeah, it was, oh my God, it was such a bad morning. In landscape photography, I hate the failures more than actually getting the winning shot. I know it sounds stupid, but it's the truth.
And I hate losing, Charlie. I hate it. I hate losing more than I even want to win. And there's a difference.
Anyway, if you're new to the channel, my name is Frank. I'm a landscape photographer. I'm based in Gibraltar. I shoot landscapes, and it's really cool and stuff, so you should probably follow me. Thank you very much. I'm going to roll this intro, and I'm going to take a few seconds to cool off before we actually get back into the video, because I'm still bitter. I'm actually still bitter. Sorry. So I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, in the intro where I was on site, that I wanted to do a time lapse, and that was the main reason for going out in the morning and shooting, and I actually still have an idea of exactly what I want to do. It's sort of like in my mind, but yeah, that morning was just not my day at all. It's just not my day. So the location where I was supposed to take this time lapse video is in a place called Mid Harbour's Boatyard, and it's like 5 minutes, no, more like 10 minutes from where I live now. And yeah, everyone here calls it Coney Island, but really it's called Mid Harbour's Boatyard. But do leave a comment down below actually if I'm 100% right that it is Coney Island. I'm not like entirely sure about that. Anyway, so I was supposed to record a time lapse there, and I remember I got to the location, and there was like this huge ass boat, right in the middle of my view. And from then on, I knew initially that it was gone to shit, because it was just completely blocking the section of the area that I wanted to do a time lapse of. I wanted to do a time lapse of there was like a massive refinery in the distance, but in the mornings there's a lot of boats around there that sort of go in and out of that bay area. And it would have been really cool to sort of see maybe a time lapse, maybe at sunset, maybe at sunrise. I wanted to try it at sunset first because I wanted to see what it was like. But I remember there being just a huge boat really close to the dockyard where I was. So it wasn't like it was in the distance where I would have liked it to have been. No, this thing was completely obstructing my view. So it just like screwed me from the very beginning. At this point, I'd already unpacked all of my gear, everything was set up correctly, I had the tripod there, it was all ready to go. And I ended up just like repacking everything because I kind of did wake up a little bit late. And not only that, it just wasn't a good morning in general. I mean, it was incredibly cloudy, but not cloudy in a good way, cloudy in a really bad way, you know, where it's just like incredibly overcast and just completely flat. So yeah, I ended up repacking everything. At that point, once I had packed my stuff, the sun was kind of already rising, and I knew I was pretty much late to the party. So but I also didn't want to waste the morning because I felt like I'd woken up and I just didn't want to like go back home and, you know, I still could have potentially had maybe a decent-ish shot if I maybe committed to staying awake and to staying, you know, on different locations. So I decided to move. That for me was the decision. I think I decided to move. Yeah. The city of Gibraltar, where I'm based in at the minute, is basically a city that's built around a rock, like a big ass rock. I'll leave a picture on screen so you guys can have a look now. But in essence, I decided to drive to a location that I knew that was kind of up the rock, a location that I knew that I could get some pretty sweet views. So that's where I basically decided to go. But that was also crap. I got there and I started shooting, and everything was still really flat, and there was so many clouds that it was just like blocking the sun entirely. So I wasn't getting any pictures that I was like happy with. And on top of that, I'd never had a problem with my new zoom lens, my Sigma lens. I've never had a problem with my Sigma lens, which you should also check out the video that I did a review of my Sigma lens and why I changed from a Tamron to Sigma. But I had never had a problem with my Sigma lens up until that day. That day for me, that lens was just like it was just not working. I was not getting focus on anything. And I think the lens was actually having problems tracking subject. So I was like having to put it, I mean, I was doing it on manual focus anyway, but I was switching between automatic and manual focus. I don't know why I was doing that. So the third and final location, which is what you ended up seeing at the beginning of the video, where I started going on about, you know, how disappointed I am. I ended up at the lighthouse, Europa Point Lighthouse in Gibraltar. And at that point, the sun had risen, the sky was like incredibly burnt. I wasn't getting any good pictures whatsoever. And yeah, I had just missed, and, you know, I felt like I had wasted an entire day. Not necessarily missed an opportunity, but rather wasted a good 3.5 hours. Yeah, I really didn't like that day at all. However, last week I did end up taking a pretty good picture of the lighthouse during like really, really early morning. It's up on my Instagram, but I'll also leave a picture on screen for you guys to have a look. And I guess you could say it was kind of like a silver lining, you know? I was really happy that I took that shot, and it was like after a week of really intensively bad weather. So I caught that break. I finally took a picture that I've been meaning to take for a little while, and it became successful. So I was happy with that. So the second part of this video is actually going to be very brief. It's only about a few updates that have happened between the 3 weeks of not recording videos, and the first of which is that I actually sold one of my big prints of Catalan Bay to the manager of the hotel of Catalan Bay. So that was pretty really cool to do that. Actually, I'm gonna get the print so you guys can have a look. I don't know if it might fit. I'm not sure, but we'll figure that out. So I don't know if you guys can see, but like this here is the final print. It's sort of, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna leave an image on screen anyway so you all can have a look. But anyway, that's the final print. I'm gonna go put it away. There's nowhere to put it here. Anyway, like I was saying, it's really cool that happened because it's kind of a milestone in terms of photography. So yeah, it's really cool. The second update is that I'm going to be updating my equipment pretty soon. In fact, today actually my new camera arrived, which is really, really cool. Because I've been using the Canon 7D. That's basically been my camera. I've been using the Canon 7D for everything, for video and for photography. So it's been putting a lot of strain on the camera itself, but it's performed incredibly well so far. So yes, hopefully stay tuned, because I'd love to be able to do maybe a Canon 7D review. I know it's kind of on the older side camera, but it's still a very, very good one. But yeah, so those are the two new updates that have happened so far. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, sticking around until the end, hearing me bitch at the beginning about the fact that 3 weeks ago I couldn't, take a single photograph. But I guess, that's part and parcel of the game of landscape photography, and something which I'm going to have to deal with, because there's many more of those probably to come. But just want to say thank you for sticking around, and greatly appreciate it if you do subscribe, and yeah, check me out on Instagram. Cheers guys, see you later.